there's pre-Judd Friedman and with Judd Friedman. The first hit I had was with Pam Reswick and Steve Werfel, and that was a song called I Live For Your Love for Natalie Cole. And after that, Kathy Spanberger from Pure Music was about to sign you, and she was a friend of mine, and she called me up. And she told me that she was about to sign this great songwriter, and she thought that you and I would have great chemistry together. And she could not have been more right, because our first song we ever wrote was a #1 song in America, I Don't Have the Heart. The second song we ever wrote was I Just Had to Hear Your Voice, and that was the #1 adult contemporary song in America. And so most of my hits are with you. And we had Run to You, and then we had For the First Time, and on and on and on. We got nominated together for Run to You for an Oscar and a Grammy. And then we got nominated for an Oscar, Grammy, and a Golden Globe for the first time from the movie One Fine Day, with Michelle Pfeiffer and George Clooney. Incredible moments in my life that were shared with you. You know, my dream was to be a pop singer. And I played all of the clubs in New York, built my reputation. And at first I was an opening act for Cissy Houston. I was handpicked by Cissy to be her opening act. At the time, I had built such a buzz that all the record labels came down to see me. The place was packed. My brother always said to me, Alan, I thought that night you'd become a star. But unfortunately, no record label, even though they were hanging from the chandeliers, I didn't get a record deal. And so I was so disheartened, I said, I'm leaving New York. I've done everything I could possibly do. I'm just going to come to Los Angeles and I'm going to write songs. If you look at the celebration of the first year of Catch a Rising Star, they had a full-page ad in Billboard or Variety. My name is a tiny little thing at the bottom with Pat Benatar and everybody else's. So I always ask myself, what's wrong with that picture? You know? And Patty was such a nice, she was a lovely, lovely. I mean, here you talk about a person who transformed themselves. She was singing opera and theater songs. Yeah. And she wanted to be singing rock, and she transformed herself and broke through above all the other rock chicks. So I came out here, and I had 2 jobs. You know, I was a waiter at the Source restaurant, the famous Source restaurant here in Los Angeles where they filmed Annie Hall. All the movie stars and all the famous songwriters ate there. And then on the weekends I was a shoe salesman. And as many of you know, I got discovered selling shoes on Venice Beach by a record producer. And that record producer changed my life. After meeting him, 7 months later, I had 2 gold and 1 platinum record with Patti LaBelle, Gladys Knight, and then one of my proudest moments, 3 songs with Barry Manilow. Here's what I think the path is. The path is you make plans and God laughs. Everything I possibly could do was preparation for what was about to happen. But my whole career has happened in ways that I never thought it would happen. And I almost feel like it's an accidental, it's happened by accident, but I did the work. And when the moments came, I was prepared for it. I was working with this publishing company called Love Zager with Doug Frank, who became the head of film music at Warner Brothers, but he was a songwriter. Doug James, who wrote How Am I Supposed to Live Without You? Alan Scott, and so many other great people. Michael Zager and Jerry Love and Susie McCusker would bring us in one by one and say, what songs have you got? We're looking for the Whispers. We're looking for the Four Tops. We're looking for Cissy Houston. And we'd each go in just like you would think you're going in for a test or something, and either walk out with a smile on your face or dejected. And I was Mr. Dejection because I could not, everybody else would come out and say, I'm getting my song cut. I could not get my song cut at that company. But it just shows you through perseverance, because I looked like the young kid who was just not making it while everybody else was, and it was very depressing, and I hung in there. My dad loved music, and every Sunday he would make breakfast for us, and then he would take out, remember the Victrola, and he would pull the Victrola out and he would play Hush Now Don't Explain by Billie Holiday, he would play Frank Sinatra, he would play all these great artists. And so I could see the joy in my father. He knew every single person who played every single instrument on all those records. From a young age, there was a lot of music going on in my house. I knew since I was 5 that I was going to do something in the music industry. There was this new movie being made with Kevin Costner and Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston was not a proven movie star, so there was still some skepticism about it. but every songwriter got a breakdown of 4 songs. Well, one ended up being I Will Always Love You, which was a Dolly Parton song. But of course, originally it was supposed to be What Becomes of the Broken Hearted, but Paul Young recorded it and released it, so they had to find another song, lucky for Dolly Parton. Then they used a remake, I'm Every Woman, the Chaka Khan song. Then there was a third song, which of course David Foster was the producer. You know he was going to write one of the 4 songs. So literally, there was only one other song of the 4 main songs that for every songwriter to land. But all the planets had to align, and we did write this very beautiful, inspired song, and we strategically, we didn't send it to Clive Davis. He's like the Louis B. Mayer of the music industry. He was like the king of the music industry. He discovered Janis Joplin, he discovered Whitney Houston, and so many other famous acts. And he was Whitney's record label head, and he was overseeing the project. We sent it to Clive's right-hand man, Jerry Griffith. And we thought, if Jerry likes it, we know he's going to play it for Clive. And that's what ended up happening. Jerry let us know he liked the song a lot. And then we got a call from Clive saying how much he loved the song, and so did Whitney. Well, you think that's the end of the story. Oh, we're so excited. My God, we're going to have a song in The Bodyguard. Not so fast. Not so fast at all. The director calls us and he says, we love your song for The Bodyguard, but we're changing it from a breakup scene to a take a chance on me scene. And this is what he literally said. It wouldn't be much of a problem to rewrite the whole lyric, right? And Judd and I looked at each other and said, okay, just kill me now. But of course, being songwriters, we said, oh, no problem. We hung up the phone and we thought we were going to kill ourselves. Judd and I rewrote it and redemoed it, but it still did the trick. The original chorus was such a powerful statement. You know, people say to me, how could you have given that up? Well, we had to, but here's what the original, when it was a breakup scene, it was, I want to run to you. I want to run to you, just like I always did before, come knocking at your door. I want to run to you, how I want to come to you, but you're not there to run to anymore. And that's, oh my God, it's like a dagger in your heart, but we had to give it up. That was the first one we ever wrote, and Kathy Spanberger called me up and said, do you have a lyric? And I said, well, I have a verse and a chorus, but I really don't want to give it to anybody till I write a second verse. And she says, no, you're giving it to me right now. I'm going to give it to Judd. So 9 days later, we had it finished. We had it demoed, and somehow I found James Ingram's, not his phone number, his address, and I mailed him a cassette. We used cassettes in those days of I Don't Have the Heart. And maybe it was about a year later, or 9 or 10 months later, I get a phone call out of the blue. I said, who is this? He said, it's James Ingram. He said, I just got off the road with Quincy. I just came home. There's a box of 400 cassettes here of people pitching me songs. There's only one song in this whole box that made me cry, and it's yours and Judd's song, I Don't Have the Heart. And I promise you that I am going to cut that song. And he did. The reality of the situation is there were 3 singles before on the new album that didn't do all that well. The record label did not want to really put out a 4th single or promote the record anymore. James stormed up to the record label and demanded they put out I Don't Have the Heart. And when we heard I Don't Have the Heart, the record of it, and this was with legendary Tom Bell producing it, we were shocked because there was no drums until the last chorus. It was like just almost a piano vocal almost. And we got, oh my God, what, oh my God, what, you know. But Tom Bell knew something, because a little DJ in Florida played I Don't Have the Heart, and the next thing you know, it caught on like wildfire, went to #1 adult contemporary, and the fire crossed over to pop, and we ended up being #1 pop. I didn't go to Harvard, but I graduated from Queens College, and I went to 1 semester graduate school. I had no connections in the business. It was just blind faith. This is what I do still. I am out there. I go out to all these events. I'm always out there trying to connect, trying to hear what's going on. You really have to wear a lot of hats. Either find an artist to work with who you can write songs with, find a production team. The climate is so different. You must be part of a camp. The days of just pitching a song are very far and few between. So you have to be part of a camp that somehow gets signed or somehow has a connection. For me, I just go to a lot of events and I'm out there Do I think I could do better? Yeah, I think I could even do better. But I'm not 20 or 30 anymore, so I get a little tired once in a while. But that's what I'd say. Get out there and write with somebody that you love, that you feel you have something special with, and that you think will mean something. You know, you may know certain songs from each writer, but then you get a whole slew of all these magic gems that you never heard of before. And I think it's a great exposure for your songs. I'm a believer, you never know what's going to happen, because my whole career is built about never knowing what happened, and that's how things happen. So I am a firm believer someone's going to hear one of my songs on qWaqqchat, and something big is going to happen as a result of it.